What's up, guys? It's your boy Cheesehead Troy. In today's video, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Exoborne. Exoborne is a open world tactical extraction shooter set in a world torn apart by extreme forces of nature. You're gonna use exosuits in this game to traverse the world. Each exosuit has different abilities. The one that I really like to use is called Viper. It had kind of like a hidden blade style effect, which was pretty cool. But there's all kinds of different exosuits that you can use. And yes, forces of nature. This game uses weather both to your advantage and to your detriment. There's things like tornadoes, intense fog, thunderstorms, dust storms, just random rain. All kinds of different things can happen all at once. And as they're happening, they affect how you traverse this open world. For an example, rain can make your parachute heavy, so you don't fly as far in the parachute. Tornadoes can help you fly up further, stuff like that. So it is very much an extreme forces of nature type thing. So now that you have an idea of what Exoborne is, and you've probably seen the gameplay trailer here in the background, but now you know kind of the gist of what Exoborne is, let's go ahead and actually have a conversation about the playtest that happened this last weekend. So a couple things that I want to talk about. We're going to go ahead and do the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to this game, because I think there's a lot of good and I think there's a lot of bad. Not that much ugly, but there is some ugly that I think we need to have a conversation about. So let's go ahead and start with the good. The good right out the gate is going to be the graphics. I think the graphics, especially when the weather comes into play, is super, super, super cool. Seeing a tornado go over your buddy's building that he's in scavenging and seeing that tornado hit, and you're like, oh my God, do not walk outside. If you walk outside, you are going to be sucked up in this tornado when we don't want you to be, right? Having the fog come in as you're being pinned down by a group, fog comes in and you're like, holy cow, they can't see me. Let's get the heck out of here. So the weather, the graphics, when you see the weather and all these things flying in the air, I mean, just everything about this game when it comes to the graphics really, really, really impressed me. I think this was something that I didn't think was going to be that big of a deal. I didn't think I was going to go into it saying, oh man, these graphics are really cool. But no, I went into this game and was like, you know what? This is really cool. So a lot of the weather effects were pretty cool. I just very much enjoyed the game. I think this game's best features, and I mean best feature, is the sound design, though. The sound of a tornado, the thunder smacking right in front of you. The sound of your parachute in the air, the sound of you running. Being able to differentiate the sound of an opponent's exosuit versus the sound of AI NPCs.
There they are.
Those are the things that is crazy. You're able to really, really take advantage of the sound design. I think everything sounds really good. Hearing a sniper in the distance is really cool versus hearing the sniper, and it's just everything really, explosions, whether you're right up next to it or the explosion is far in the distance, being able to really hear that. And something that is pretty cool is you do see the explosion, and then that time comes where it hits you maybe a second later where you hear it. Stuff like that is super, super impressive. So really dig the sound design in this game for sure. Now, kind of coinciding with the graphics, I think that the weather in general really is what makes this game stand out and is super unique from other extraction shooters in the genre. Now, Tarkov has weather, right? snow, rain, sun, fog. But this, having the weather drastically affect everything you do in the game. You get struck by lightning, your exosuit's not going to work for a second or two, right? Like, that's important so that, okay, if I'm Viper and I have my knife attached to me, I can't just use it if I'm electric, or, you know, I have that electricity running through my exosuit. I have to wait that cooldown for that to happen. Or if my exosuit is, you know, if I'm on fire, stuff like that can really affect everything that you do in this game, and I think that's so cool. Now, I know the graphical side of it, like I said earlier, is fantastic, but just the different weather effects and how they affect every single thing you do is just really, really, really good about this game, and something that I really, really like. All right, another thing that I think is really awesome about this game is the AI. Now, that's going to sound weird coming from me saying, hey, AI being difficult is a good thing in this game, but it is 100% a really cool thing. Because it again makes it so that you know, all right, should I engage in this area or should I back off? Is it important that I go here and do this, or do I back off? Is what is important for me and what isn't? And the AI being hard and challenging really makes it so that you have to really consider a lot of the things that you do in this game. Every movement you make is very important to the AI. Now, some AI is a lot easier than others. Some is really hard. But the fact that the AI is challenging is very important. I've come across AI in other games like Delta Force or Arena Breakout Infinite, or even Tarkov for that matter, where the AI really isn't that challenging. And I really liked it in this game, the AI being pretty challenging. And another thing that I think is really, really awesome about this game is the map size. When they say this is an open world, the closest thing I can explain it to is if you've ever played DMZ. DMZ took place on Call of Duty's Warzone maps. The Warzone map, the big map, right? Al Mazrah. It took place on that map. So now you're playing a extraction shooter on a gigantic map where there's tons of things for you to do. That's awesome. And I think that Exoborne really does do that really well. They take the maps, they say, hey, these maps are really big. Go ahead, do the things that you want to do. You might not ever cross another team while you're playing, or you're going to. There was multiple raids that I played where I didn't cross a single other actual player or team. So that is where that is. All right, and the last thing that I think is in the good category is the extractions themselves. Now, the extractions cost in-game currency, money, for you to extract from. And similar, almost identical to DMZ, they call a helicopter to come pick you up. So when you call it, you have to then wait for a helicopter to come get you. As you're waiting for another helicopter to come get you, there is a chance that another team can see that you're extracting and come and kill you or engage with you at your extraction point. Also, during that time, as you're waiting for that helicopter, once you and your squad hop into the helicopter, you still have 10 seconds that you have to wait before it takes off. So there's a lot of engagement opportunity for both you and the other squads that could be engaging you while you're trying to extract. And if one person of your squad is not in the helicopter, it takes 30 seconds then. Once all 3 people or whatever are in the helicopter, it goes 10 seconds, counts down from there. But until then, you have 30 seconds, which is just crazy to think about. So I just wanted to say, I think that that's really good in this game. All right, so those were the good things. Let's go ahead and talk about some things that I think are bad. They're not horrible. These are things that some minor tweaks could be done to make this a little bit easier. The bad, let's start off with the economy. The economy in this game is, in my opinion, too challenging. There was a couple of instances where we were looting and having a good time. But a lot of the things that we were looting were not high tier. And if you die, then you don't have any of that loot, and you also lost all the stuff that you brought in. Again, that's normal for extraction shooters. I'm totally fine with that. But even in the hardest of hardcore games like Tarkov, it's fairly easy to make some money to then get yourself kitted out to at least somewhat survive in the world of Tarkov. Here in Exoborne, there was a couple of times where, especially towards the end of the playtest, where I was like, you know what, let's see what we can do. Let's go in with a pistol, or let's go in with just the knife on my exosuit. Let's kill a couple AI. Let's grab their guns. Let's do a 0 to hero style run. And it was very challenging to do on a multitude of things. Things aren't worth that much that you do find in the world, but then the things that you need to buy, like self-revive kits or armor or, you know, specific ammo, costs a lot. So what you're extracting from the world is not worth a lot, but the things that you're buying are worth a lot. So I did find it fairly hard to earn enough in-game money to then supply my demands as a player. So I felt that that was pretty hard. Another thing that's in the bad category is the guns felt great, or the guns sounded great, but they all felt too samey. Everything was pretty simple and pretty, I could engage pretty much anybody from any distance with any gun. So if you were a moderate distance away, I could engage you with my machine pistol. I could engage you with my DMR. They felt the same. The recoil felt the same. Everything felt the same in regards to that. Again, sound great, but the recoil and everything just felt pretty simplistic and too samey to me. And the last thing that could be both a good and positive thing, so it's kind of in the middle, the good or the bad, is the fact that there is no safe box. Safe boxes are something that most extraction shooters have. They're very common. It allows you to carry stuff that if you die, it's there. No matter what happens, you keep what's in your safe box. The problem with safe boxes is they don't guarantee your safety, which allows for some extra stress when playing the game, which is really good with extraction shooters. I enjoy the fact that a game can be super, super stressful. So having a safe box takes away some of that stress, and it's a safety net, if you will. And I don't like safety nets. We don't like safety nets. But one of the other things is not having a safety box, and this is where it can be bad, is it does affect the economy, because it means that high value piece of loot, that if I don't have a way to save that and I do die, then I really am out everything I brought in, which again can be both a positive and a negative. I personally am mixed on that, so that's why it's actually kind of in the middle there. All right, now we're going to go to the ugly. There's two things that are ugly. We're going to make it quick because I really love this game. I really enjoyed my time with this game. The ugly is the UI. The UI in this game is awful. The way you traverse your mission, like find your missions and accept missions and turn mission items in, and how you access your stash, and just everything about the UI felt very, very off. I really was not a fan of the way that the UI worked in this game, and this is something that needs, in my opinion, a complete overhaul before the game is launched later this year. Yes, you heard that right. I think the UI needs a 100% scrap it and redo it. There is just too much not goodness with it. I don't think there is salvaging it. I think a full, complete rework of the UI is necessary in this regard. So that is like a big ugly for me. Now this next one, this one is going to be, again, a hot topic in the world of video games, especially in 2025. This game, now we don't know the price, but this game is rumored to be a paid experience. So you will have to pay to play this game. It will not be a free-to-play game. Now, I am of the thought that that's okay. It's okay for a game to not be a free-to-play game. The problem is that this day and age in the world of gaming, you can't have your cake and eat it too. And what I mean by that is that if you're going to have microtransactions, which assumingly a game like this would, you shouldn't be a pay-to-play game. You should have the microtransactions and the game should be free to play. By making the game a paid experience, you are telling your customers not to worry about having microtransactions shoved down their throat. But on top of that, any games that are coming out that are a paid experience are less likely, especially live service like this is going to be, are less likely to succeed in today's day and age when you have all of the people that are playing Fortnite or Marvel Rivals or Valorant or any other free-to-play game. And unfortunately, you have to compete with those free-to-play games because they're free to play. And so by having a paywall in a game like this, you are already going to limit your player base. Your player base is going to be small. And that, for me, is something that worries me with this game. I have talked for the last little bit here about how I really did enjoy this game. I am worried that at any price point above $0, this game is destined to fail within 1 year. I don't want it to. This game is an extraction shooter that's coming to console, which in a previous video on this channel, I talked about how extraction shooters need to come to console. But unfortunately, this game, being behind a paywall, in my opinion, does not offer enough in its current state to be worth more than $0 up front. Again, I'm okay with microtransactions. I will buy microtransactions, but don't have a paywall to just play the game. So there you go, guys. My name is She Said Troy. That is Exoborne. Let me know in the comments down below if you think, if you, one, had a chance to play this game, and two, if you are someone that's excited for this game, likes anything you heard about this, and let me know your thoughts about everything and anything about this video. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks.